and it ended up being one of those games where, despite the final score, if anyone actually watched this game, the final score does not reflect how the game felt. It never felt like this game was close. I know it was only a 7-point game, but at no point did the Ravens feel like they were actually in this game, despite it being only 7 points. Let me rephrase. When they were driving with the Zay Flowers, and when he fumbled, that was I thought at the same exact thing. Wellington is at that moment when he fumbled, I was like, that's the game. That's a backbreaker right there. You finally had a good drive. You hurt yourself with the penalty, and maybe we'll talk about the penalties later as a separate aspect. But then you lose to a phenomenal play by L'Jarius Sneed, All-Pro. Not an All-Pro corner, should have been an All-Pro in my opinion, Pro Bowl, but got snubbed because he doesn't have the name of a Jalen Ramsey or other people that are out there, and yet he's allowed 3 touchdowns or fewer all year.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Makes a great play, punches it out, and I just thought the same as exactly what you just expressed. It's like that's the game. That's a backbreaker when you get such a good drive going, and then you just see it all go to pot basically there, and you actually have a turnover. That's a soul crusher for your team, and so that one was going to be hard to come back from. So, and I'm saying all this, and I hate to as a Chiefs fan, I don't want to take away from what the Chiefs did. I mean, this was, you mentioned the stats. It was not a flashy game by Mahomes, but it definitely was Kelsey's best game of the entire year.
Oh my goodness,
regular season, phenomenal. And is Kelsey just like
phenomenal, man.
I was hearing something earlier in the week, and maybe you can react to this, but like, is the Mahomes Kelsey duo the most lethal playoff duel in NFL history? And it sounds crazy to say, but like when you look at their numbers,
like Brady Gronk,
crazy.
No. What I'm saying is, like, I never thought Brady and, like, looking at what Brady and Gronk did, I was like, oh, these guys are going to be at the top for a year. And then Mahomes and Kelsey come around, like, oh, they're going to be the top. Like, these are actually the guys now because Kelsey's got the most receptions. I mean, this connection, it's got to be at the top of the list.
Because I mean, you're never going to be able to break Rice's playoff yardage just because that man went crazy. But I mean, Kelsey already broke his receptions in that game, ended up tying him and then broke him the same game. He can, if Kelsey kept playing, I think for a year or two more, he can break Rice's touchdowns in postseason as well. So the only thing that Rice is going to have end up left standing, and the reason I'm saying this is because Jerry Rice is admittedly usually, in terms of receivers, tight ends, people who catch the ball, there's a reason why his nickname was the GOAT, right, of all receivers, is because he was at his best in the playoffs. And yet, other than yards, he's going to end up losing receptions to Kelsey. He's probably, if Kelsey can stay healthy and come back for another year, which I think he will, he's going to lose touchdowns to Kelsey. And then Kelsey could very well catch him in Super Bowls, depending on how this year goes. And,